Hearts of Hearing, published on May 23, 2017, shares the story of Annie and her parents. Their daughter Annie was born with a congenital virus that destroyed her hearing and forced her deaf. Having no history of hearing loss in their family, they were utterly shocked. They were devastated knowing as they held their daughter that she could not hear their voices or their songs. Facing the reality of deafness for their daughter was difficult. Their minds flooded with concerns about Annie's future. They worried for her, not knowing how it would be like for her to attend public school or if she would ever have a family of her own. The CDC.gov, last updated in 2022, reported that genetic hearing loss accounts for 50 to 60% of cases among children who are deaf. In addition, over 6,000 infants in the United States were born with permanent hearing loss. Among the children who go untreated for their hearing loss, they face delayed speech and language development, reduced academic achievement, and it affects their social and emotional interactions. It is crucial that they attend early intervention for the sake of their well-being. Today I'm going to tell you about gene therapy and how it can be used to treat children with OTOF hearing loss and the positive impact it can have on children and their family. First, I will tell you what gene therapy is. Then I will tell you how it works to enable hearing in OTOF patients. And finally, I will explain the future of gene therapy for those affected by genetic hearing loss. Let me start by telling you about gene therapy and how it can be used. The National Institute of Deafness and Other Communications Disorder, last updated on October 30th, 2024, explains that gene therapy is used to treat medical conditions by replacing or correcting a mutated or missing gene with copies of its normal version. This creates a healthy version of the gene, which allows it to do the functions it was intended to do. Now, let's think of gene therapy like a software patch going in to fix a bug. It's a small code going in to fix errors and problems. Gene therapy is being used and experimented on those with genetic hearing loss. By delivering gene therapy to the inner ear, it allows the potential for ear functions to return. By targeting specific genes linked to deafness, this can allow hearing to restore. Now that I told you what gene therapy is and how it can be used, let me tell you how it enabled hearing in children born with OTOF mutations. Harvard Medical School, last updated on January 20th, 2024, published their trials in which it allowed children born with OTOF mutations to hear again using gene therapy. The trial treated 6 children aged 1 to 7 who were born with mutations of the OTOF gene. Now, you may ask, what's the OTOF gene? The OTOF gene encodes a protein called otoferlin, which is responsible for sending signals from the cochlear cells to nerves. So what does that mean? Without it, those sound doesn't reach the brain, which causes severe to profound hearing loss. Now that we understand what the OTOF gene and what kind of mutation it is, let's start with the research. Researchers ran into a problem during gene therapy. They realized that the OTOF gene was too large to fit inside the virus typically used. So what they did is they split the gene into halves and injected both into the cochlea. Luckily, although they were both in halves, the cells were able to read the DNA and form a full protein. Now the cells could function properly and send signals to the brain, which would now allow the ability to hear again. Fast forward 26 weeks later, after the trial, 5 patients responded to treatment and showed improvement in being able to hear and respond to sound. Out of those 5, 3 with cochlear implants were able to turn them off and have conversations over the phone and even hear speech despite being in a noisy room. This was huge for the scientists who worked on this trial with gene therapy. Now that I have told you the success trials of gene therapy, let me tell you about the future of gene therapy for those affected by genetic hearing loss. The Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, last updated on January 22nd, 2024, explains that after successful trials of gene therapy, this is a huge breakthrough for scientists and now being able to help more people with genetic hearing loss across the spectrum. After one of their patients went from severely deaf to now mild hearing loss, scientists are hopeful that they are closer to new discoveries. But there are over 150 gene mutations that cause child hearing loss every year that now have the opportunity at being treated. Although patients have only been treated and tested with OTOF mutations, this opens a door of opportunities for those who have different genetic mutations. As studies go on, scientists and researchers will be able to track their patients' progress to be able to help more people. They will do so by paying attention to the sustainability of gene therapy and the level of improvement in hearing through the trials. For example, as new studies go on, they will have patients with a more diverse background and a variety of different age groups so it can assist in helping more individuals affected by genetic hearing loss and those who are deaf due to that hearing loss, and it could potentially help in the approval of treatments being able to go through in the US. Today I told you what gene therapy is and how it can be used to enable hearing in children born with an OTOF mutation. First, I told you what gene therapy is. Then I told you how it worked to enable hearing in children born with the OTOF mutation. And finally, I explained to you the future of gene therapy for those affected by genetic hearing loss. Annie's story is one of the many that parents all around the world have to go through when they discover their child is born deaf. So, there are severe lifelong implications when children are not treated for their hearing loss. But with the use of gene therapy, this technology can save the lives of many children and their families.